on 3 continents, interview countless experts, and create incredible animation. I think this series will be a real hit. So be sure to join KQED when we take you back in time to when the Earth was ruled by dinosaurs.
Monday night at 8, National Geographic profiles a country chosen by destiny to become the greatest power on Earth, then doomed to lapse into decades of decline and stagnation. But under the extraordinary reign of King Juan Carlos, Spain has leapt into the 20th century. As new ideas, concepts, and values flood in, the Spanish people cherish the ways that are uniquely theirs. Be with us Monday night at 8 as our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month continues when National Geographic explores the soul of Spain.
This series is made possible by Bertolli, the makers of olive oil for the past 125 years.
For years, you could go to Spain and never eat real Spanish food. Now, Spaniards have a newfound passion for their traditional cooking, and it's contagious. The real thing was a revelation to me. I fell in love with the regional cooking as I traveled from Catalonia to Andalusia, and that's where we're going. I can still taste the cold soups and the roasted vegetables, the bean dishes and fragrant rice, and the fabulous seafood. The Valencia fish market is like a cathedral. In Spain, they really adore fish and seafood, and with good reason. The variety is simply overwhelming. From huge fish like tuna and swordfish, which slice like meat, to sardines, which are one of the most popular fish in Spain. Other favorites are hake and monkfish. People here prefer fish when they're small. These are baby squid. The shellfish and crustaceans are breathtaking. Most of them were pulled out of the sea just a few hours ago. Sant Feliu is a fishing port and holiday resort in Catalonia, north of Barcelona. Like all resorts, its cooking has suffered the effects of tourism. But recently, a group of chefs in the area has banded together to revive local traditions. Carles Camos, the owner of the Big Rock Hotel, is one of them. He'll prepare zarzuela, a Catalan seafood stew.
Este es un plato de celebración muy mediterráneo. Es un plato que no es difícil de hacer, pero es un plato caro. Es un plato que cuesta dinero y su nombre es la zarzuela. Indica, es como una opereta. En España hay una canción que se llama La Zarzuela y sería una opereta de pescados. Bueno, aquí tenemos la zarzuela algo adelantada, ya la he preparado un poco. Ahí el pescado, una parte del pescado está frito. Tenemos las gambas, las langostas ya un poco fritas, pasadas por la sartén y fritas. Primero se enharinan, luego las almejas y los mejillones ya están abiertos por el calor. Y ahora voy a enseñarles cómo se termina de hacer, o sea, cómo he procedido para llegar a este punto. El rape y la langosta lo pasamos un poco por harina, pero el calamar no. Hay que tener el cuidado de que el aceite esté muy caliente y de que fría muy rápido. Muy bien, ahora vamos a terminar el plato. Ya tenemos esta parte cocida.
In the larger pan, he's got more monkfish and squid already fried, and the cooked scampi, mussels and clams. Carles uses two famous Catalan sauces in the dish. Picada, a garlic and almond sauce which we'll see later on, and sofrito, made with fried onions and tomatoes.
Es el momento de poner el ajo y perejil. Y de flambear con el coñac antes de ponerle el sofrito.
Sofrito is at the heart of Mediterranean cooking. It spread from here through France and Italy to the east. Picada came the other way with the conquering Arabs. The two sauces enhance the delicate flavors of the seafood without overwhelming them. The dish is cooked for another 5 minutes. Zarzuela is one of the masterpieces of Catalan cuisine. Every region of Spain is highly individual in its cooking. The old kingdom of Catalonia, which stretched into France, still retains its own language. And Catalan cooking is one of the most elaborate and refined in Spain. When explorers like Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas, they brought back tomatoes and potatoes, peppers and pumpkins. They were integrated with the local products before they spread throughout the Mediterranean. Tomatoes and peppers especially have become as symbolic of the Mediterranean as olives. The market people take their Sunday breakfast at Can Segura.
Me encontré con una mula a que me mostraba su buen andar. Estando yo una mañana triste y lloró, salirando al mar. Me encontré con una mula a que me mostraba su buen andar. Yo la miraba y me sonreía. Y al mismo tiempo yo le decía.
Catalan country food from the interior is based on beans and pork products. Cured hams and an incredible variety of sausages are still made locally in the villages. The beloved pa amb tomate is bread rubbed with tomato and sprinkled with olive oil. Crema catalana is a custard perfumed with vanilla, cinnamon and lemon zest. It's given a brittle caramel crust at the last minute. Sugar is sprinkled on. Then a red-hot branding iron is applied gently to caramelize it. At the celebrated Cantoni, they take great pride in their Catalan heritage. Remey Martinez is one of the new women chefs who've made their mark in Spanish cooking. She's making romesco, a Catalan sauce for fish. Mildly hot dried red peppers called ñoras are baked with garlic and tomatoes. Then they're blended with oil. Remey's dish today is duck with pears. Carrots, onions and a tomato will be cooked with the duck. Garlic and almonds are for the picada sauce. Pears will be poached separately with cinnamon.
En primer lugar, cogeremos el pato ya troceado y lo dejaremos dorar, que quede dorado. Después cogemos los ingredientes, el tomillo, la cebolla y la zanahoria. Lo dejaremos rehogar durante unos segundos, que quede bien rehogado aquí. Pues el tomate.
The tomato has been peeled and chopped.
Y el vino rancio.
It's a particular kind of bitter wine, but you can use dry sherry instead.
Esto para su cocción, para que quede bien cocido, debe cubrirse de caldo de carne, que quede el pato bien cubierto. Esto se debe dejar cocer hasta que el pato esté cocido completamente, que esté tierno. Más o menos media hora o algo así.
The picada sauce and the pears are prepared while the duck is cooking.
Para preparar la picada hay que pelar los ajos, ponerlos dentro del mortero y pelar las almendras, sacar la piel. Esto debe picarse bien picado hasta que queda hecho una pasta, para que así dé más consistencia al plato. La picada no debe echarse a la salsa hasta que está el pato hecho bien hasta la última hora, cuando está todo cocido y toda la salsa hecha. Y debe cocer unos 5 minutos, pero siempre a última hora, cuando el plato ya está prácticamente hecho.
The pears go in at the same time as the picada. The combination of flavors in pato con peras is superb. Further down the coast, in the region of Valencia, the food is quite different. Valencia is celebrated for its horchaterias. Here they serve churros, fritters deep-fried and sprinkled with sugar. Churros are the morning snack all over Spain. They are dunked into rich hot chocolate made with milk and melted pieces of dark chocolate. Horchata is a drink made with the tiger nuts which grow around Valencia. Tiger nuts are soaked in water for hours, then crushed and strained. Served sweetened and chilled, horchata is a refreshing summer drink with a most unusual flavor. Chocolate was brought from the New World by the conquistadores, and they still drink it like this in Mexico. Besides the fresh produce at the Valencia market, you can buy preserved foods. Dried salt cod is one of the cheap staples, so are salted sardines. But dried and pressed fish roe is a delicacy. It's thinly sliced and served with drinks. These roes are from tuna and hake. Saffron, the pistils of the purple crocus, lend flavor and color to Spanish dishes. Ñoras are the dried red peppers. Garrofon are like butter beans. Rice is the main crop of the Valencia region. It was brought by the Arabs in the 8th century, and it's become an everyday food. There are many splendid rice dishes, and paella is renowned all over the world. Just outside the village of Bétera, in an orange grove, is Mas Carmen, a lovely country villa belonging to Fernando Osorio. His cook, Maria Amal, prepares paella in the traditional way, outdoors on an open fire. This classic paella contains no seafood. It's based on the produce of the land. Rabbit, chicken and tomatoes, green beans and snails, white beans, garrofón, and rice.
Esta es la paella auténtica valenciana, que se pone el pollo. Ahora pongo el pollo.
Then the rabbit pieces are added, and chopped tomatoes go in. When the meat has nicely browned, the green beans are added.
El garrofón.
As these white beans are fresh, they don't need soaking.
El pimiento colorado. Un poquitín de ajo. El agua. Los caracoles.
The meat is simmered until it's done. Then she adds the rice and cooks it until it's plump and tender. Like everyone now, she uses the cheaper saffron powder, which gives the rice a strong yellow color. Making paella is a celebration in Valencia. All it needs is salad to accompany and fruit to follow. Outside the village of Jalón, in the region of Alicante, my friend Alicia Rios is preparing the simplest of Spanish meals. She starts with a pepper and potato tortilla, a kind of omelette. Alicia used to run a restaurant and now researches regional cooking.
La tortilla de patata es un plato que nosotros llamamos muy socorrido. Sirve como aperitivo, como primer plato, como segundo, es maravillosa para llevarlo al campo de excursión y es una comida que en España se come casi en todas las casas todos los días, muchas veces como cena.
Alicia believes the secret of success is a lot of good olive oil. This may seem a huge amount, but she'll drain off most of it and reuse it.
Cuando el aceite empieza a echar humo, añado los ingredientes.
All the vegetables must be cut the same size so they cook evenly. Thinly sliced potatoes and onions go in first. Then the green peppers. They're fried until soft, but not brown. The excess oil will be filtered and used again. Then the fried vegetables are mixed into the well-beaten eggs. It's important to wipe out the pan thoroughly before pouring in the egg mixture. This prevents the tortilla from sticking.
Añado un poco más de aceite y ya para hacer ya la tortilla.
Because the tortilla is thick, it needs to be cooked on both sides.
Ahora le voy a dar la vuelta a la tortilla y voy a utilizar la tapadera de un cacharro para darle la vuelta porque tiene el asa y es lo que mejor funciona.
Again, the pan must be wiped with kitchen paper and re-oiled to prevent sticking.
Así, de aceite. Y cuando el aceite ya esté caliente, añado la tortilla por el otro lado.
Tortilla is eaten hot or cold, cut into wedges like a cake. Alicia's next dish is sardines cooked in white wine.
Voy a hacer unas sardinas en vino blanco. La sardina, solemos decir nosotros, la sardina está divina. Es un pescado muy popular en España, suele comerse en toda la costa del Mediterráneo, también en el Cantábrico. Se pone la cazuela. Estas cazuelas tienen es un recipiente muy tradicional y no están vidriadas por el fondo, por lo cual se pueden poner directamente en el fuego. La pongo al fuego y pongo un dedo de aceite de oliva. Pongo las sardinas bien colocadas en el fondo de la cazuela. Las sardinas están limpias, les he quitado la cabeza y las tripas. Un poco del perejil, el ajo machacado en el mortero,
She adds lemon juice, which balances the oily taste of the fish. Then white wine, just enough to cover.
y lo dejo cocer despacio unos 5 o 6 minutos como máximo, porque el pescado no debe cocerse demasiado y con el limón también le ayuda a cocerse y con 5 minutos es suficiente.
Sardinas en vino blanco is an easy dish, as good cold as it is hot. Here in Andalusia, in the south, sweet red peppers dry in the brilliant sun. They'll be ground into paprika. It's also the region of olives and olive oil. Outside Granada, in Durcal, an old mill has been converted into the Andalusian center of gastronomic investigation. They make gazpacho, the cold vegetable soup, in the old way. Josefa pounds everything in a mortar, starting with garlic cloves. She adds peeled and diced cucumber and onions. This center also houses a restaurant called El Molino. They serve dishes which they've researched and revived from the Andalusian past. Green and red peppers have been finely diced. The vegetables are cut up small so that they're easier to pound in the mortar. Then peeled and diced tomatoes go in. People vary the proportions according to taste. The cooking of Andalusia is called cocina de imaginación, cooking of the imagination, because you can improvise. Soft breadcrumbs will give body to the soup. Gazpacho is rural food. It was brought to the fields by the caseras, the women who cooked for the farm laborers, to refresh the men in the heat of the midday sun. A little wine vinegar is added to sharpen the flavor. And fruity olive oil. Although many people in Spain now use a blender, which results in a pureed soup, here, at El Molino, They believe that the pestle and mortar improves the flavor as well as the texture, and they love pounding. Now a little water. We had other cold soups here, ajo blanco and escabeche. Ajo blanco is made with garlic, bread, ground almonds and grapes, and escabeche is an unusual chilled fish broth. They're all gazpachos. Iced water is added just before serving. You can also serve gazpacho with ice cubes and extra chopped vegetables at the table for people to help themselves. But at El Molino's, they serve it as it was brought to the fields, with only fried croutons as the garnish. I can't think of anything more refreshing on a summer's day than gazpacho andaluz. Granada was the lost stronghold of the Moors, the Arabs of Morocco, who ruled in Andalusia for 700 years. It's another world here from the rest of Spain. Slower, more easygoing, light-hearted, and gregarious. The most enchanting of Spanish eating customs, the tradition of tapas, started here, in bars like Primer Puente. Pablo Amate, a food writer who was born in Granada, explains it to us.
Gracias. La tapa es una costumbre que está bastante arraigada en Andalucía y forma parte de nuestro entorno y nuestras tradiciones. Vuelvo a pensar que el encanto de la tertulia, la charla prolongada, el buen tiempo que hace que nos guste ver a los amigos, no de una forma programada y establecida, sino con las circunstancias que te encuentras y puede el tener un rato de mediodía, que además el hambre inquieta y nuestros vinos así lo requieren, pues hace que se fomente, tengamos unas situaciones muy naturales. Al fin y al cabo, yo pienso que la tapa es una forma y una filosofía de vida.
A tapa is an appetizer that accompanies a drink. Even the most modest of bars serve jamón serrano, cured ham with olives, capers and bread. Each bar has its own specialities. Here, they're based on local country dishes.
No, el chocolate ayuda a bajar.
Igualmente se las tomaban, los campesinos se las tomaban para desayunar, y era con café con leche, lo migaban las migas.
The drink of the south is fino, pale dry sherry, served chilled.
Oye, estos son las salaillas, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Qué curioso. Y en cambio, la jayuya era la que era más dulce.
Pero esta también, en fondo es dulce. Las son con sardinas.
Bueno,
You're supposed only to pick at tapas. This way you get to taste the great variety of delicious foods. Bars vie with each other and bring out ever more tantalizing offerings. That's part of the pleasure of the tapas crawl. It's difficult to think of a more agreeable way of passing the time. And when the tapas of fish, for me, it's pure delight.
The recipes from today's show are in the companion cookbook, Mediterranean Cookery, by Claudia Rodin. The softcover book contains over 250 recipes and 100 full color photographs evoking the traditional flavors and spirit of the Mediterranean. The price is $19 plus handling.
6. Ensure the future of your public broadcasting station. Make sure KQED has your vote. Thank you.
Join us for The Jewel in the Crown Sunday night at 10 on Channel 9.
This series is made possible by Bertolli, the makers of olive oil for the past 125 years.
Greek cooking at its best can hardly ever be found outside the home, whether it's grills or stews, stuffed vegetables, fish or salad. It's mostly simple and unpretentious. But it's full of pure, delicious flavors, combining lemon and olive oil, herbs with wine and vinegar, olives with cheese. And it reminds us of the islands and the sea, of the whitewashed houses and the brilliant light. Greek food really deserves to be better known. Much of Greek island cooking comes from the sea. Octopus needs to be tenderized before it's cooked. Fishermen do this by beating it against the rocks. Here, at Nausa Harbor, on the island of Paros, the octopus is dried in the sun and grilled over charcoal. It gives off a lovely smell, and the flesh is juicy, with a taste of the sea. At this little cafe, the octopus is offered as an appetizer, or meze. This ouzeri serves the local anise-flavored spirit, ouzo. People sit here for hours with a drink and little things to nibble on. Fishermen go out to sea at night with lanterns and draw in their nets in the morning. Fish left over from the catch are made into a fish soup called kakavia. Yorgos carries supplies of fresh vegetables, oil and water on board, so he can make the dish at sea. Today, he's only got onions and potatoes. Kakavia is a legacy of the ancient Greeks, and it's believed that they introduced it all around the Mediterranean. When the fish are large, they make a substantial meal, but when they're tiny, they're boiled and the broth is strained. The beauty of Greek cooking is its simplicity. Olive oil and lemon juice are essential flavorings in Greece. Just before the Orthodox Easter, everything is whitewashed to mark the end of winter and Lent. Despite the tourism, life for the people of the islands remains relatively unchanged. The cooking follows the rhythm of the seasons and the religious calendar. The bakery is the focal point of the island community. Bread is baked fresh every day, And the village women still bring in their roasts to be cooked in the large ovens. In Greece, bread is always on the table, and there's a good variety. Some covered in sesame seed, others just good and crusty. The islands have to be largely self-sufficient. Cooking with the seasonal produce gives structure and pleasure to everyday life. The hills are too steep and the land too rocky for cattle to graze, but sheep and goats do very well here. Their meat acquires a delicate flavor from the wild aromatic herbs on which they feed. Rosemary, thyme and sage all grow in abundance. Rigani, the strong wild oregano, lends much of Greek food its characteristic flavor. The perfume of the herbs even comes through in the yogurt and cheese made with goats and sheep's milk. Each island makes its own cheeses, like the well-known feta, kaseri and halloumi, which vary slightly from island to island. Kefalotiri, a hard cheese, similar to Parmesan, is being made here.
Μάνι σε παράτε. Πρόσβηση πάει στο τέτοιο. Στο συντριγό. Άντε σε παράτε. Να το να σμάνεις, πάρτε με.
Greek cheeses are exported all over the world. They've become so popular that they're copied in many countries. But the real thing can't be reproduced exactly. Cooking isn't very different from the islands. It's still basically simple, using the same ingredients. For the people at Athens Central Market, shopping is of the greatest importance. There's a lively exuberance in the fish hall. All the well-known Mediterranean fish are here. Swordfish has flesh so firm that it can be cubed and skewered for kebabs. There are octopus, prawns, squid, inky cuttlefish, garfish, and dogfish. A particular favorite is barbuña, red mullet. The menu in this Piraeus taverna is exclusively fish. There's a set meal of about 10 courses. It was opened 60 years ago by Yorgos Vasilenas' father. Yorgos is going to make taramosalata.
Λοιπόν, η ταραμοσαλάτα είναι ένα φαγητό ορεκτικό για τους Έλληνες που συνηθίζεται πάρα πολύ. Το ταραμά, το λεμόνι, το κρεμμύδι. Και μετά προσθέτουμε το ψωμί και λίγο το λάδι. Βάζουμε τον ταραμά.
He starts with a fish roe.
Το λεμόνι.
Then the lemon juice is added. and the grated onion. Tarama is the dried salted roe of the grey mullet. Smoked cod's roe can be used instead. The bread makes it less salty and also makes the dish go further. It's easy to make in a blender. In the villages, they still use a wooden pestle and mortar. Yorgos insists on using the best quality olive oil. He adds it slowly in a thin stream. Taramosalata makes a delicious, strongly flavored meze. Yorgos also serves stuffed squid. Preparing them is easier than you think.
Πρώτα απ' όλα, πώς το καθαρίζουνε το καλαμάρι. Το καλαμάρι έχει εδώ από κάτω ένα σαν κόκαλο ή σαν με το χέρι εδώ λίγο, το τραβάμε.
The quill, which looks like a piece of clear plastic, is very easy to find and remove. Yorgos makes a small incision and pulls out all the soft insides. When you cut out the eyes, be careful that the ink doesn't squirt out at you. Usually the head is pulled off, but Yorgos likes to keep it on for a more attractive presentation.
Μετά κάτω από τη βρύση.
Yorgos uses spring vegetables in his stuffing. Spring onions are chopped finely and combined with chopped spinach, flat-leaved parsley, and rice. Blended tomatoes will make up the sauce together with olive oil. All the ingredients except the tomatoes are cooked together for the stuffing.
Η γέμιση είναι έτοιμη με όλα αυτά τα που φτιάξαμε και χρησιμοποιώ αυτό τη σύριγγα.
Yorgos likes to use a syringe simply because he stuffs so many, but it's just as easy to use a teaspoon. Don't overstuff the squid, or it might split when the rice expands. The tomato pulp is poured on top. It will combine with the cooking juices to make a delicious, fresh-tasting sauce. Extra olive oil is the final touch. The squid needs to cook about 20 minutes in a medium oven until the flesh is only just firm and the sauce is thick and rich. Greeks have a special affection for squid, and this is one of their favorite ways of making it. One of the best methods of cooking small red mullet is to fry them whole. Yorgos is very particular about frying fish. He likes to season them with salt and coat them twice in flour to give them a good crust. He fries them in olive oil. He says the art lies in heating the oil to just the right degree, hot enough to seal the crust, but not so hot that the crust burns before the fish is cooked. Like many Greeks, Yorgos guards the source of his olive oil with great secrecy. All the fish needs now is the usual squeeze of lemon juice. Pulses are a major part of the Greek diet. During Lent, people practically live on them. They're eaten cold as appetizers and salads, and they go into soups and stews. Fasolia, a soup made from white beans, is said to be the Greek national dish. Gigantes, which resemble butter beans, are a particular favorite for cold salads. Olives are so much a part of life that they appear on the table at every meal. Pickled vegetables are eaten especially on Clean Monday, the beginning of Lent. Many people don't eat any meat, cheese or eggs at all during Lent. It's a time of purification for the great Easter feast. All kinds of fruit are preserved in thick sugar syrup. A delightful custom is to greet guests with a plate of spoon sweets, glicot, and a glass of very cold water to wash them down with. After Lent, people are able to enjoy meat again. And on Easter Day itself, the air will be filled with the smell of whole lambs roasting outdoors. In Greece, all cooks seem to be called Yorgos. Yorgos Bagia at the Kostoyanis makes good homely food, the kind of dishes everyone grew up with. There's kokoretsi, lamb's intestines, and stuffed squid, beans cooked with tomatoes, stewed snails, stuffed peppers, and lamb fricassee, which Yorgos is making. The lettuce will be cooked and added to the meat. The lamb's already cooked. It's been lightly browned in oil and then simmered in wine and water. The strained meat stock is poured back into the pan. The meat and lettuce are simmered together for only a few minutes. An egg and lemon sauce, avgolemono, will be added just before serving. Avgolemono is the famous sauce which flavors and thickens many soups and stews. There are different ways of making it. Yorgos uses only the yolks. And he adds a little water. Corn flour is not commonly used, but it helps to thicken the sauce further and to prevent it from curdling when it's reheated. It must be stirred in well and blended thoroughly, otherwise the sauce will be lumpy.
Και τώρα ετοιμάζουμε το αυγολέμονο για το αρνάκι φρικασέ.
A few ladlefuls of broth must be beaten in first, so that the eggs don't curdle with the heat. Now the egg and lemon mixture can be poured into the stew. It must be stirred and allowed to cook very gently for a few minutes, just below boiling point, until the sauce thickens. Arni fricassee is a spring dish with the lovely lemon and dill flavors which characterize much Greek cooking. Yorgos's next dish is dolmades.
Εδώ φτιάχνουμε το κιμά για ένα πρώτο φαγητό ελληνικό σπέσια, ντολμαδάκια. Εδώ βάζουμε μαντανό. Εδώ θα βάλουμε το κρεμμυδάκι, καρβουτισμένο. Ξερό ή φρέσκο. Εδώ βάζουμε ριζάκι. Γλασέ. Εδώ βάζουμε λίγο δυόσμο. Εδώ βάζουμε λίγο πιπέρι, μαύρο ή και άσπρο, άμα θέλουμε. Εδώ βάζουμε λιγάκι τυρί τρίμα, τριμμένο. Θέλετε παρμεζάνα, καλύτερα ακόμα. Εδώ βάλουμε λίγο βούτυρο. Φρέσκο ή λαδάκι. Εδώ βάλουμε το αυγό. Και το αλάτι μας. Και λίγο άνηθο. Όλα αυτά τώρα τα ζυμώνουμε. Τα ζυμώνουμε.
All the ingredients must be mixed and kneaded thoroughly. The meat Yorgos is using is lamb.
Και τώρα ανοίγουμε το φύλλο, το οποίο το φύλλο είναι από αμπέλι. Θέτε φρέσκο, θέτε κονσέρβα. Ανοίγουμε ένα-ένα το φύλλο και βάζουμε με το κουταλάκι το κιμά και το τυλίγουμε.
If the vine leaves are too small, you can use two together. The dolmades are packed in a saucepan, covered with water and simmered very gently for about 30 minutes. They're served hot as a meze with the same egg and lemon sauce, avgolemono. A selection of mezedes can be eaten instead of a main course, like roasted red pepper salad, scordalia, a garlic dip, octopus salad, zagiki, yogurt and cucumber, bean salad, or horta, boiled wild greens. A Greek meal usually ends with fruit, but people like to take pastries and coffee at cafes like Zonar's, which is an institution in Athens. Zonar's is getting ready for Easter. Eggs are dyed red and used to decorate the traditional sweet Easter breads, tsoureki. The best-known pastry in the Eastern Mediterranean is baklava. Greeks claim it's a legacy of the ancient past. Baklava is layers of paper-thin dough called phyllo, filled with ground walnuts or almonds. They're brushed with butter, baked, then doused with sugar syrup. Another similar pastry is kadaifi. It's made with a dough which resembles soft vermicelli. Coffee is drunk throughout the day, and cafes are as much of a male preserve as bars. The great meeting place for women is the market, where they shop daily for the family meal. These are the tastes of the Mediterranean, garlic and lemon, and these the favored vegetables. Spinach and the wild greens horta, which are picked fresh from the hills. Greek spring onions are almost as fat as leeks, and a favorite spring combination is broad beans stewed with artichokes. Many vegetables are grown in the market gardens in the area around Marathon, north of Athens. It's so fertile that it gives the lie to the image of Greece as a completely rocky, arid land. Part of the charm of Greece is the way Greeks entertain, with enormous hospitality and joie de vivre. Rula Macris serves meals to her guests in the open, under the shade of the vines. Today she's making stifado, a rich beef stew. The secret of its success lies in the long, slow cooking. She's marinated the meat overnight in olive oil and red wine vinegar, with allspice, peppercorns and cloves. Rabbit is often used instead of beef. Allspice berries give the dish a powerful aroma.
Παίρνουμε το κρέας, το οποίο είπαμε ότι είναι μοσχάρι, είναι από το λαιμό, γιατί είναι πιο μαλακό. Το κόβουμε κομμάτια μικρά, τόσα, το οποίο βάζουμε σε μια κατσαρόλα. Η κατσαρόλα, εγώ προτιμώ να είναι πύληνη, γιατί το βάζω μέσα στο φούρνο. Μπορεί όμως να γίνει και σε μια κλασική κατσαρόλα πάνω στη φωτιά. Το σκόρδο. Σκόρδο.
At this time of year, the garlic is freshly gathered.
Μετά τη δάφνη.
Bay leaves, daphne, are another much-loved herb.
Μετά τα κρεμμύδια.
To make them easier to peel, the picking onions are first plunged into boiling water to loosen the skin.
Η ντομάτα.
Either fresh or tinned tomatoes can be used.
Τώρα είναι έτοιμο πια να μπει στο φούρνο. Θα μπει στο φούρνο αφού το σκεπάσουμε πολύ καλά, 3 ώρες με χαμηλή φωτιά και θα δούμε πάλι. Η νοικοκυρά θα καταλάβει πότε θα έχει γίνει.
Rula sometimes leaves the casserole covered overnight in a very low oven. The result is wonderfully tender meat, a sauce full of rich flavor, and a garnish of sweet, almost caramelized onions. Rula serves stifado with keftedes, the traditional Greek meatballs, and horiatiki salata, made with feta cheese and olives. They represent the essential simplicity of Greek food.
The recipes from today's show are in the companion cookbook, Mediterranean Cookery, by Claudia Rodin. The softcover book contains over 250 recipes and 100 full-color photographs evoking the traditional flavors and spirit of the Mediterranean. The price is $19 plus handling. To order, call 1-800-358-3000.
Be with us this Monday when Channel 9 celebrates exploration. Beginning at noon, it's all 4 parts of Columbus and the Age of Discovery. At 8, it's the debut of Space Age, which profiles the race to Mars. And at 9, Nova presents an astronaut's view of Earth. Then at 10, it's a different perspective of the Discovery on surviving Columbus. Don't miss this special day, Monday, beginning at noon and continuing throughout the day right here on Channel 9. Interested in mysteries, science fiction, poetry, or rap? How about storytellers, cartoonists, or gourmet chefs? Join us at the San Francisco Bay Area Book Festival on Saturday, October 17th and Sunday, October 18th at the Concourse Exhibition Center in San Francisco. KQED's Center for Education and Lifelong Learning is proud to sponsor this free event for the entire family. So mark your calendar and don't miss your chance to celebrate books and reading with KQED. For more information, call 415-861-BOOK.
In the hills of Chianti, in the Italian region called Tuscany, a 1,000-year-old abbey is now the home and cooking school of Lorenza de' Medici. Now you can experience the rich traditions of the Italian table as Lorenza shares authentic family recipes in her new television series. Explore the classic tastes of Italy here in the de' Medici kitchen.
Join us for the premiere of this new series Saturday afternoon at 1.
Dinner at Julia's is made possible by Polaroid, instant imaging technology.
Oh, what a beautiful day for a barbecue. Look at this scenery, horses, music. Hi there. Hi, Mary. Oh, look at this. Hi, Michael. How's everything going?
Fine, fine.
Look at ribs, hamburgers, onions. Oh, boy. Hi, Jean. Don't catch me in that thing now. Hi, Julia. Look what Francois got in here. Oh, it smells wonderful. And this is fun, isn't this?